Peace, assalamu alaikum, hotep, namaste, jumbo, ashe, shalom, shalom, yatahe, all the greetings of love and light. To the darkest minds of the light, I am Napasha Da, and here is another lesson, just some rhetoric for you to listen to cleanse your mind, to balance you out from all of this madness that goes on social media, especially in the manosphere. I'd like to say in the red pill spaces lately. I mean, things always evolve. Back when Kevin Samuels was alive, this type of rhetoric was not being taught, that wives are literally the same as sex workers. We're going to call them pros, but I'm talking about pros to toot. Get it? So when you do hear, because of YouTube is hypocritical, you can do anything you want on YouTube, but when you really start teaching, if you say the word prostitute too fat, too much, they have the nerve to try to censor you and even take your video down sometimes. So we have men out here, lots of men who are, for whatever reason, I guess, like the scriptures say, you wax worse and worse. First, they blame women who are left and decide to raise children on as best as they can. When men leave, they blame the women only, and they say the man is blameless when he leaves a home. Now they're saying that wives are equivalent to prostitute. The prostitutes are getting respected in these spaces. I was on a channel, shout out to Fatty. They literally showed her respect. She was filthy. Was disrespectful about men and women. She was vulgar, and she got the utmost respect. They spent 4 hours talking to this woman with the highest level of respect that they could find. And then with me, because I had cleavage, which God made cleavage, women have breasts. Breasts are not sexual organs. Babies feed off of breasts. Babies suckle breasts. Okay. But with me, I got every opportunity that they could find. And I'm saying this, they wanted to try to put me on the same position, like juxtapose me with her and like, oh, look at you and look at her. She's a prostitute and you are a wife. What is the difference? So we're going to listen to some facts, some very sad facts about prostitute. And prostitute, these women who are doing this to themselves are nowhere near wives. A wife is something honorable. She chooses to be with one man. She chooses to dedicate her life to the union. She chooses to make the life, I'm talking about what it's supposed to be. I'm not talking about dysfunction. She chooses, and the man does the same. These people in a marriage union choose to dedicate themselves to each other in a covenant. Pros to two have no covenant. There's no loyalty or honor amongst thieves, and there's no honor amongst pros to two. And it's sad. I'm not bashing pros to two because we've got a lot of little girls. I'm talking about 12 and 13-year-olds who are entering into that profession. Here's some facts. While people want to joke around and laugh and make fun of prostitutes saying that they're powerful because they sell their bodies, the facts are that the average prostitute, when she goes into the profession, is 12 and 13 years old. That's the average age. This is according to the CDC. This is according to different research, surveys done, reputable surveys done, and it's tough, like law enforcement surveys. The women, or they're not even women yet, they're young, adolescent, prepubescent, or just embarking on puberty, young girls who are Pr0STITUTE. That's what we're going to call them. So I want you to listen to, I did a video almost 10 years ago. I focused on these young women who are selling themselves and they're being unalived. Sadly, if they're not unalived, their minds are totally being destroyed. Their bodies are totally being destroyed and they are being used up. So the delusion is to say, oh, I'm empowered, I'm better, I'm no different than you as a wife. And the sad part is the manosphere, the men who are in these spaces who want to ridicule and call women who are wives or women who are just wearing a certain outfit, they want to call them 304s and say they deserve to get attacked and they deserve to be harassed. They are saying they're cheering on young women who are actually becoming Pr0STITUTEs who are destroying their lives. Okay, so I want you to listen to, it was an interview done, and these are young women who actually chose to be Pr0STITUTEs in their lives. And I want you to hear what one of them has to say, or a few of them. Let's listen. Thank you, Oros. So listen.
We're all the same age. There would be a few girls that I knew that were like in their 20s or whatever.
Hold on, let me go back.
We're all the same age. There would be a few.
Oh, okay. They don't do that, but look pretty.
Okay, the average age is 13. I'm gonna show you this video later. It's on my other channel. So they're interviewing Jasmine. She's a survivor of domestic minor. And by the way, it's sex trafficking. Okay. So notice how our culture, I'm going to say the males first because they're the leaders. The males cheer on sex workers. They cheer on corn workers. They cheer on women who are Pr0STITUTEs. They cheer them on. And then they want to attack and complain about women wearing body conscious outfits. Women who are just regular ladies doing yoga, wives who have cleavage. That's why I wore my cleavage like that on that panel. I used to say, wow, that one organized march that Amber Rose did called Slut Walk. I used to ridicule it, but now I see what she was doing with that. It is we have a hypocritical community of males who want to condemn women for wearing body conscious outfits, but they cheer on and they praise and put Pr0STITUTEs and corn workers on the highest pedestal, and they respect them. They respect them. They say, oh, we respect you because you're telling the truth. No, they're not. Something's going wrong with them. Most Pr0STITUTEs have a history of SA abuse. SA as children. PIMP, that word, I'm going to call it pumping for this video to stay up. But when men are pumps, when they are pumping women, they are sex traffickers. But we make it like it's something good in our culture. Oh, look at this. You're a PIMP. Ooh, yeah, brother, you got it going on. No, he's a sex trafficker. And usually they are little girls. This woman said they were under 18. Let's keep listening to her. She's an actual survivor. This is a real interview. And there's dozens of interviews like this, but people don't want to really focus on it. I'm going to start bringing on, I had interviewed a couple of these ladies before in the past. I'm going to bring them back on and I want you to hear it. Now, you can do what you want as an adult, but what you are not going to do is keep pushing the rhetoric that wives are the same as sex workers, because what you're really trying to do is tell women it's okay to be a sex worker. Denied. Okay? Get that right out of here. You tried to slam dunk it. I stuffed it right back down your throat like I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or whoever, whatever center was the best center in basketball. You will not be able to score with this one. Being a Pr0STITUTE is devastating. It is terrible. It is a horrible life. That woman said she was autistic. That right there, whoever's giving her money for sexual favors should be looked at that's borderline criminal. Okay, borderline criminal, if not criminal. So but they cheered her on. Oh, she's so great. She's so wonderful. And what's the difference between you, Napa? Fatty asked me, what's the difference between you and her, Napa? Are you serious? Now we're talking about matrimony, holy matrimony. And if you're an atheist, it's still a covenant. You made it a covenant between two people. And you're trying to say being a wife is the same as being a prostitute. So husbands are tricks? How disrespectful to both sides. Let's listen to this testimony from this girl.
There would be a few girls that I knew that were like in their 20s or whatever, but they had been doing it since they were our age anyways. I did wait.
In their 20s, they had been doing it. That's actually considered an old HO. When that woman was up there saying she's 32, she's just doing that for clicks and views. They're talking about, oh, she has a great OnlyFans. Listen, anybody saying that they're going to be a billionaire, which is what this poor lady said. I'm talking about that one prostitute. She said she's going to be a billionaire from turning tricks. We have to stop these lies because you're making young girls think that it's glamorous and that you're going to get rich. That woman's not rich. You know, strippers make a lot of money. They have nothing to show for it. That woman makes a lot of money. She has nothing to show for it. That's not her home. It's not. Nobody who is worth anything would get on the internet and advertise themselves as a prostitute. They wouldn't. They would keep a low profile because they're clients. They would lose clients. If she was a real prostitute that's making hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars, because you're not laying on your back making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe OnlyFans, you're making a lot of money, but you're not making a lot of money as a prostitute. But that's not the point. The point that I'm making is they're delusional. They're lying to young women saying they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're making sex work look as if it's glamorous, just like pumping would remove the U and put an I has been made to look glamorous when it's just sex trafficking. So we need to really break this culture of sex work and sex trafficking being glorified in these spaces. While you attack women who are wives or women who just want to wear body conscious outfits. That one doctor, I forgot her name, the psychiatrist who's going around being a relationship coach, is getting called all kinds of disgusting names and being disrespected in these spaces because of how she looks and because of her rhetoric and what she teaches, even though she's never been a self-proclaimed promiscuous woman or a prostitute. But we have these spaces spending 4 hours respectfully interviewing and calling prostitutes good women and trying to put them on the same level as wives. Your mothers are wives. Your grandmothers are wives. Your sisters are wives. Your wives are wives. How dare you try to say that a woman who is being exploited for her sex and used and downtrodden and who is probably coming out of a sexual child abuse situation is the same as a woman who dedicates her wife to a man or whatever, a woman, to a union, a covenant of relationship and exclusivity or however you want your marriage to be. If it's a polygynous or polyandrous exclusive relationship, it is exclusive. You are not for sale. These women have become a commodity, and it is okay with the dread pill, not the red pill. I'm going to call you the dread pill. It is okay for you to call husbands tricks. Nothing but a pocketbook and a male member is what this woman called men. And you men who are leading other men are saying, yes, she's right. That's what you women think. That's scary. Extremely denied. Let's keep listening to this sad truth about the real life of prostitutes.
Till 12, and these girls were doing it since they were like 8 or 9, and now they're like,
wow, she said 8 or 9. From the research that I've done and the studies and all the information from like law enforcement surveys, the CDC, I didn't see 8 or 9. That's a bit extreme, but I have seen 12 years old. 12 to 13 is when they start. But this woman is saying 8 or 9, which is stomach turning. And this is the industry that you're trying to say wives are equivalent to these type of women. I'm not trying to shame the women for their well, I take that back. I am shaming the women who promote it, but I'm not trying to bash women and make it like, oh, you're the evilest of all, because I know something's wrong with them. That's why I continue to repeat on that panel. We are talking to an autistic prostitute. Now, I used that one time. The reason I kept saying that is everyone was just skimming over the fact that this woman has some severe mental illness and mental disability. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. They reinforced her need for attention. They reinforced it. They fed into it. And then they want to bash wives and say, you're the same because you want to look good with your husband. I don't think so. Let's keep listening.
23.
They're selling children in this industry, by the way. That's another thing. If you are a prostitute and you're an adult and you claim to have adult clients, all it takes is a price. You'll do anything. You'll do anything for the highest price. So you're for sale. And in your industry, children are also for sale. I want you to keep note of that. In the industry, the prostitute that was bragging, saying she gets all this money, you are aligned with people who also have a taste for children. You're a flavor and the children are flavor. You made yourself a commodity. So you're a commodity for people who like adults. But there are children in your same industry alongside you in the same business that you participate in. There are children who are a different flavor for PDF files. And you're okay with that because you're for sale, just like the children. The ones who desire, they walk into the shop, got adult women, some children, some boys, some girls, some men, some transsexual women. That's what you're doing. Make no mistake. You are in that industry. And so how are you going to say wives are compared to that? No, wives are not compared to that because wives do not sex traffic themselves. And they are not sex trafficked by their husbands. And their husbands are not customers for sex. Their husbands are high valued. That's their entire life. There is no price tag on being a wife or a husband. It's called a family. So if we look at this dangerous rhetoric, everyone, these men, and Fatty, I'm calling you out, my friend. These men are saying there's no difference between a prostitute and a wife. So they also would use that logic. That same logic would be applied to their children are also prostitutes. Children are taken care of. Children are given food and shelter. So did you know there are some out there that all prostitutes aren't just doing the actual sex act. They're going in there scamming. They're being honeypots. What is a honeypot? It's a person who goes in, it could be male or female, who sets somebody up and does what they're told because they're obedient like children, and then they lure somebody in, and then the person walks into a trap and they get robbed. A lot of I'm going to call them pumps, send their prostitutes in to be honeypots. So sex isn't always involved. See, I can skew the logic, and it can go down to the worst side of the sewer. Because if you're going to go down to the sewer and say wives are prostitutes, you're going to have to say the whole family, the children are prostitutes, and the dad is either the PIMP, he puts on the PIMP hat, or he puts on the trick hat. Because dads tell their kids what to do. Parents tell their children what to do. They send their children in to do things. That's what prostitutes do as well. See what I'm saying? So stop saying wives are the same as prostitutes, because prostitutes are victims. Okay? They they're groomed from childhood to think that it's good to do something like that, sell yourself, and to see men as just body members and dollar signs, because they hate men because of the abuse that they received as a child. It's just facts. No woman would look at a man for just his member and his money unless she has been damaged. And the same goes for men. Okay? So let's keep listening to this.
Show them and tell them like what it feel like to be that hoe, to be degraded all the time, to be hit on, to be manipulated, to be so all day, every day. Who is there to stop it?
Did you hear that, young lady? She wants you to know what it feels like to be sold all day, every day. All day, every day. Now, these are statistics that are, it's hard to come by, but there is some information out there. This is not from the CDC or law enforcement. These are anecdotal statistics, but they make sense. A prostitute has an average, if she's working all day long, on a low scale, she's turned 10 tricks, okay, on her back. 10 tricks, or on her knees, whatever. 10. That's a low scale. For a full day, it's 20. Now, there have been dozens and dozens of prostitutes who have said, yeah, that makes sense. Okay? 20 men a day, do the math. Do the math. Even 10 men a day. You're with 10 men a day. 10. 10. 10 times 30, if you're talking about a full month. You've been with 300 men in 1 month. 1 month, if you're working every day. Let's say you don't work every day. Let's say you only work 3 days a week. You're with 30 men a week. 30. You've been with 120 men in 1 month. How can this be glamorized? You have been with 120 lowball. But if you're working all day and you're making all that money, the woman on Fatty said she's going to be a billionaire. So they were praising her. Fatty's talking about, oh, she's worth hundreds of thousands. So she's obviously not only doing lowball. She's up there in the 20s a day. Do the math. And then shed a tear for these people. And they don't have days off. They're always working because they've always got their tools with them, their minds and their body parts. I was in the hotel lobby in Dallas with my husband at the time. It was in 2021. And we got back from an event. It had to have been 2 a.m. I went to grab some coffee, which they have in the lobby in this hotel that we were at. It was a nice place. Went to the side, but this woman didn't see me. This young woman, She couldn't have been more than 19 years old. I'm going to say she was probably under 19. She approached my husband and she said, "Can I use your phone?" This is after 2 in the morning. "Can I use your phone? I have a friend upstairs that I'm trying to get in touch with." Number one, no woman who is that age and looking that pretty is out with no phone. But let's say she didn't have a phone. Why didn't she ask the front desk to make the call for her to the room? She literally said she needed to call the room. Okay. Number two, that was number two. Number three, he's a man, was by himself. It was late night. She was working. So they're always working. That's my point. She was working. Of course, when I came up, everything changed. I tried to have compassion for her. It's like, I don't know what you're doing out here. It's not safe. And she really received it. Most women, not that donkey in a wig, looking like JJ from Good Times in a ramen wig. I'm going to drag her because she's trying to attack my looks. Not that donkey that was on Fatty. But most women, most of these young women, these beautiful, sweet young women who are being prostitutes, they're usually very sweet. I worked in domestic violence shelters, women's shelters, and a lot of the women there were escaping their humps. Replaced a U with an I, which were often either their baby daddies or their boyfriends. They were escaping them because they didn't want to do it anymore. And I talked to them and they usually were very sweet, very loving, very kind. Usually when you get ones that are angry and everything, it's because something else is going wrong with them. Get it? It's not just about the work they're doing. So I just want to put that out there. Let's continue listening to, I'm going to look at the chat. Well, who's in the chat, Tahuti? Who's doing? Just anybody who's being disrespectful, Tahuti, just if they're being disrespectful to me, just time them out or block them. Okay, yeah. So yeah, thank you. Let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this sad testimonial. Nobody was there to stop them. Women are being abducted, by the way. This industry that's being glorified, that these dread pill men are trying to compare wives to prostitutes, these are women who need to be rescued. You want to curse out women with cleavage and say we're crazy and we're HOs and we're 304s and we're thoughts in the mind. But you don't want to tell these women, look, you need help. Instead, you want to sit on panels and tell them, "Oh, you're right. Thank you for telling the truth." Telling the truth? There are girls who are being kidnapped and forced to do these things. Are they telling the truth? No, they're not. I'm saying, excuse me, are they living the truth? That women are what's happening to them is the same as what a wife is? Remember in Washington D.C. when all those black and Latino girls were missing, and it says this year we've received 708. I just want you to listen. 708 missing girls. Now this was 10 years ago. It's like 30,000 women missing a year now, if not more. Hold on.
This year we received 708 missing persons reports, which 674 have been closed and 34 remains open.
Okay, 674 were closed. That doesn't mean that they found them. 34 remained open. It's crazy. Let's go forward. Now, this is all about SA. This is all about trafficking, but I want you to hear the testimonies of the girls who really are being forced into this. The ones who say they do it willingly, it's the same industry. It's the same industry. Let me get this right here.
Alabama teenager Natalie Holloway went.
Hold on. Okay, listen to this.
When I was 14,
daughter Hope was kidnapped by sex traffickers. Hope was forced into prostitution.
It all started because I posted on a social media site that I hated my mother. A woman messaged me back telling me that I could go stay with her and we'd go partying. She showed up within the next 45 minutes. I was gone.
The suspects target girls who post comments about a negative home life, social media sites, and chat rooms.
The 14-year-old, oh, I hate my mom. She doesn't understand me. I can't wait to get out of here.
That's how police say William Jacobs and Shayla Williams met a young North Texas victim who was just 14 years old.
I walked into the motel room. I see a man sitting in the corner. The first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Take off your clothes so we can take these pictures." No. Like, no, I'm not going to take my clothes off. He said, "So you want to do this the hard way?" He hit me a couple times, and after that, I was out. I woke up in the closet. The closet that I was in was about size me right here. After they took me out the closet, they took crushed up pills and they forced them down my throat. After they force fed me pills, I would try to move my body, but I couldn't pick myself up. They made me feel catatonic. After they drugged me, I had my first client.
So a wife is the same as a prostitute, because this is what's happening to women. Stop playing with us. Stop trying to compare prostitution to holy matrimony and to marriage. Okay? Shame on you. Because these men who are doing this, they've never been married. They've never had wives. And these women who are agreeing, they've never been married or had a husband. And you need to stop making prostitution as if it's something funny and fun. It's horrible. It's awful. So anyway, let me get this other testimonial. Another young girl. It's not so glamorous when you hear the real side of it. Because even that woman who was on that panel, she's miserable. You can see she's unhappy. She's unhappy. Nobody is happy being objectified as a commodity.
I was so exhausted. I didn't want to do it anymore. He hit me a few times, and then he had a gun and he pointed it at me and he was like, "You need to do what I say." He's like, "I will kill you."
Savannah was looking at websites when she was lured away. A study says the average age a girl enters prostitution is 12 to 14 years old.
So one day, I think I was 13.
Did you hear that? That is a study back then from the CDC. I'd like to find out the actual information today. 12 to 14. Stop making it as if a wife is the same as a prostitute, and stop making it like being a prostitute is something glamorous and great. It's not. It's a nightmare. It's a hell. Money cannot make you happy. And like Coco was saying to that woman on that panel, you're not going to be happy when you get older. It's impossible. You have sold yourself at any price that you can get. You've sold yourself and you've aligned yourself with people who sell children.
I didn't really know a lot about anything. So I went online and I don't know how I came across like this website for like sugar daddies, guys would pay for your stuff. I didn't know that I would have to have sex with them. I just thought.
Notice that she said she came across a website on the social media internet where she saw it was for sugar daddies and guys will pay for your stuff. That is why you are at fault. I'm talking to the dread pill and the manosphere. When you glamorize these things to these young ladies, you bring on prostitutes that can't even get their hair done correctly. They have to put on winter hats because their hair is looking crazy and their edges are all messed up. They don't even have the ability to go buy a decent wig, but they're trying to convince us that they're so rich. Okay. You're bringing them on and letting them tell young women that they make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're trying to validate that, saying, "Oh yes, she does. She does make," and you respect that woman. So little girls, 12, 13, 14. Yes, I said little girls. Anybody has a problem with me calling a 12, 13, 14-year-old a little girl, check your own self. Those are little girls to me. When we're talking about SA and sexual activity, those are little girls. I'm not going to take it back this time. I'm not going to call them teenagers. Little girls are listening to prostitutes on these channels that everyone's respecting and glorifying, and they're going to these websites for sugar daddies and stuff, and then they're getting caught up in the real truth of it, which is nightmare, which is objectification, which is sex trafficking and all other ungodliness and all other scary things that are happening to these children. I'm going to go back and let you hear what this baby said when she was 14, what she did, because somebody put a prostitute on the internet and made them think it's cool and glamorous, and you can be rich and you can be adored and all this great stuff, when really that's a goddamn lie. Let's listen.
I didn't know that I would have to have sex with them. I just thought they were gonna, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just thought that, you know, they would buy me stuff, and just because I was pretty cute. I don't know.
Yeah, that's because you're glorifying prostitution out here, manosphere. You're glorifying it. You say you're condemning it, but you're not. You're respecting these prostitutes. You're bringing them on. We said for 4 hours. I'll never do that again. I am such a great team player. I am so cool. I'm great with people. I will never sit again for 4 hours while people try to debate with and interview and glorify, not even interview in the way like, why would you want to sell yourself? What happened to you in your childhood? Nothing that would really be healing and helpful for young women listening and men. No, you were glorifying her and trying to compare her, trying to say she's the same as a wife. And what does that lead to? That leads to little girls like this one ending up on the internet thinking that it's glamorous and it's great. Let's listen to this little girl's story again. Let's go back a little bit more again.
Didn't want to do it anymore. He hit me a few times, and then he had a gun and he pointed it at me, and he was like, "You need to do what I say." He's like, "I will kill you."
Savannah was looking at websites when she was lured away. A study says the average age a girl enters prostitution is 12 to 14 years old.
So one day, I think I was 13. I didn't really know a lot about anything. So I went online and I don't know how I came across like this website for like sugar daddies, guys would pay for your stuff. I didn't know that I would have to have sex with them. I just thought they were gonna, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just thought that, they would buy me stuff, and just because I was pretty cute. I don't know. I still did not understand what was happening, like completely, even when we went to the hotel room until it happened.
Katarina Rosenblatt says she was only 13 when her mother, escaping an abusive relation, took her to live in a hotel in Miami Beach. She remembers her mother worked long hours and she wandered alone.
Soon enough, there was a trafficking ring that spotted my vulnerability, being alone, having low self-esteem coming from a dysfunctional home life. They spotted that. And so there was an older girl.
You see how this beautiful, beautiful woman, I love my sisters like this. I will knock somebody's proverbial piñata to pieces, meaning I won't really hurt somebody physically, but if there are women coming to me trying to call me an HO because I have cleavage, you know who you are, Miss Petty. Okay, if there are women out there who are jealous and angry because they don't have cleavage and they want to get mad at me because I do, accentuate your other beautiful parts. If there are women like that, I will definitely give them the same energy back. And at times I will just let it ride. But if they keep on doing it, I will feed it back. But that doesn't mean I don't love them. I love my sisters. I love women. I'm a woman's advocate. I do believe women are goddesses, but I believe men are also gods. I do believe the woman is the first worshipped God in society. I don't mean like the the woman is a god in, the god of all gods. I know that people worshiped women first because women, human beings were coming out of us. I'm talking about prehistoric. I'm talking about pre-civilizations. Women were the first worshiped gods because it was miraculous. Nobody understood why we were the ones bringing the life. With that said, though, if there are women out here attacking me and being nasty toward me, I'm going to get you back, but I'm still going to want to sit down with you as a woman and say, look, we are supposed to love each other. We don't have to agree with each other, but what you should never do is align with men who want to destroy women, who are misogynist. And I'm not calling Fatty a misogynist. I'm talking about across the board, the entire manosphere, the so-called red pill, but it's the dread pill. Okay. The dread pill is it's a movement to hate women. And then the proof is that they only respect and exalt corn workers and prostitutes, women who destroy themselves. So I love this woman right here because this is what she's doing. She's showing us, I had a bad childhood. I was abused. This is the kind of conversation you should be having with these prostitutes if you're going to bring them on and talk to them for 4 hours. You're not supposed to glorify the fact that they objectify themselves as a commodity and objectify men as well. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to show the truth of sex trafficking. You're supposed to show the truth of sex working. And the truth is, it's miserable. It's nasty. It's cancerous. It's toxic. It's vapid. It's a dead end street. Okay? Let's keep listening.
That recruited me. And she came up to me as a big sister. And so she was 19 and thin and pretty and everything I thought I wanted to be.
Kat says the girl's name was Mary, and she had a plan.
She introduced me to her pimp. And I didn't know he was a pimp. I didn't know he was a scam artist at the time. I thought he was just a nice man, like a father.
Soon after, she remembers finding herself inside a hotel room, dressed as a bride, convinced she was playing a game. She remembers the locked door and drugs on the table.
Guy who was half dressed with a beer belly hanging out, ready to partake in his transaction. He had negotiated the price with Mary. I should say 20 years ago, the price was $550 for a virgin girl.
And you think that that's the same as a wife? Some disgusting PDF file showing up to take advantage of a child who's been groomed and manipulated. You want to compare that to marriage? So you're saying husbands are the same as that disgusting pot-bellied guy. A lot of these men, and no, I'm not referring to anybody that I've interacted with. I'm not talking about Fatty or Tommy. I'm talking about the facts of the manosphere. I'm talking about most of the audience in particular. A lot of these men, not all, because there's some very wonderful men out there, brothers, decent men, but a lot of these men are clients, and they're clients of traffickers. And that's why they are cheering on the abuse of women when women are called 304s for what they wear. And in the same breath, they're cheering on prostitutes who say men are just for their members and their pockets. Yeah.
Kat says that time she managed to talk and plead her way out of this situation. But soon after, she says she was tricked again, this time by a friend's father.
Okay, so let's go forward to another testimony. I will, again, like I said, I will share this. I'll share this whole video that I did. It's a mini documentary that I did. Here's a young girl talking about her experience as a prostitute.
They're always in my mind.
Not her. This one.
End up meeting. Do you call him Shy Boy or do you?
I call him Shy. Yeah, that's what everybody like really calls him. Like they know him by Shy.
And so, how did you guys like first start talking?
I came across his tattooing page on Instagram. I saw he had a lot of followers, and I liked his tattoos, so I would like his pictures, and then he started liking mine, and he would comment on my pictures, and we exchanged numbers.
Once again, these little girls are on social media. Okay?
Started exchanging pictures and talking more and stuff like that. So, and that was when I was like 15 or 14. We started talking and texting, and then once I was 16, I had left from I think I was home at the time, and I left from home and I went with a boyfriend, and me and my boyfriend got in an argument, and Shy kept telling me like to go with him and that I had a good like chance of getting money.
There it is there. Go with him. You have a good chance of getting money. That prostitute that had on that winter hat and that ramen wig was bragging about how she's so rich and she has money, money, money. That is, she's trying to probably groom and recruit young women. Because a lot of these people are madams, not just PIMP men. A lot of these women are madams trying to get women to do this stuff. So I bet she's trying to recruit people, trying to tell them I make so much money. No, you don't. If you make so much money, you would have had something else besides a winter hat to put on that busted hairstyle that you were trying to hide. And why didn't you have your hair fixed? If you're selling yourself and you're trying to get clients for your beauty, why was your hair looking like that day? She's probably trying to recruit little girls.
It's for his birthday. Just wanted me to go and have fun with them. And then I paid for a taxi from Modesto to like San Jose. It was like $200, and I paid for it to go meet up with Shy. And then from then, Shy said we were going to Las Vegas, and next thing you know, we're at his tattoo shop, and he like tells me he wants to try it out or whatever, and we ended up having sex. And from there, we went to Motel 6, and I didn't know exactly what was going to happen or go on, but he ended up posting an ad for me and taking pictures of me and all that. So from there, he had me meeting with guys, and I didn't really know what to do. But I was with Araceli at the time and Jocelyn.
So, like, now we got OnlyFans instead of Backpage. They advertise themselves and then they get clients. How is this? You really think people are getting rich from this? Do not believe anything you hear. I don't care what they say about 100,000, this and that is a goddamn lie. And if she's making $100,000, somebody's taking it from her. There's no way. Now, yeah, are there women making a lot of money on OnlyFans? Sure. But this woman is saying that she's making all that money as a prostitute. No, don't believe it. And there's no price tag that your body you can't put a price tag on your body, on your dignity. Your mind isn't going to be well if you are selling yourself, because you're going to start calling men nothing but body members and money. That's that's psychopathic. That's a sickness. That's a mental illness that you've developed because of the lifestyle that you live. Let's listen to this little girl some more. Yes, little girl. She was 16 at the time. And I think she's now 18 on this, but let's listen to her experience with this trafficker.
And Sally were the ones who were working and stuff. And then when I wanted to leave, Shy told me I couldn't leave.
So where did this go from there?
It went to me like trying to leave every day. I would call people. I would walk around the hotel calling people, telling them to pick me up. And Shai told me that if I had anybody try to pick me up, that he would kill them before they took off with me. Yeah, so I was like really scared, and I told them, never mind, don't come, like, because I care about like my friends too, and I didn't want nothing bad happening to them. So I told them not. It was embarrassing because my brother found my ad online one time, my older brother, and he told me too, like, what are you doing with your life?
So what did it end up being like when you were, I guess, working? What was like a
Normal day was basically like, at first, like, I didn't do drugs or anything at first. Like, Araceli was the one who like would be there, and I remember one day she came out, and she went outside to get something from Shy, and then she came back and she had like a little bag of white stuff. I didn't even know what it was. Like, I didn't know anything about it, and she started like breaking it up and stuff, and I was getting scared because I didn't know what it was. And she would do her drugs, and she was like, it helps me stay up. And the first time I worked for him, I only had probably like about.
You see that? That's the true side of prostitute. Not this glamorization of, oh, it's great. And this is the same as being a wife? Shame on anybody trying to say that you might as well just be a prostitute instead of a wife. This is sad. And no, this is typical. Okay? It's not glamorous. It's not, oh, she's making money on OnlyFans, she's flying everywhere. This is the typical life they live. Okay? This is their typical life. She's about to talk about how many people she's with. Let's listen.
5 guys a day. And as soon as the guys came and left, like as soon as they walked out the door, as soon as the guys came.
Wait, hold on. I want you to hear her say 5 to 8 guys a day at
8
first.
guys a day.
Wait.
It was. She would do her drugs, and she was like, it helps me stay up. And the first time I worked for him, I only had probably like about like 5 to like 8 guys a day. And as soon as the guys came and left, like as soon as they walked out the door, he came to collect them. He wouldn't let me hold on to it or nothing. And he told me I was gonna get money out of it. I never got any money or nothing.
Yes, that's usually more like it. Again, you can take these anomalies, which are atypical, these prostitutes who are managing themselves, you know, doing whatever. But most of the time, when the money is there, somebody's approaching them to manage them. Either a madam or a P, replace the U, a pump, replace the U with an I. Usually a madam is coming in and they're taking all their money. And they're telling them, well, you need protection. Don't let anybody get on the internet and glamorize prostitutes saying, oh, I do my own thing. I have money. No, you don't. You're a liar. And you're mentally, something's wrong with you. We literally had the woman say she's autistic. Right then, we should have stopped and said, no, this isn't, we're not going to argue with her about this. We're going to talk to her about what's going on. You're autistic. What level are you? Where are you at on the spectrum? What happened to you as a child? Instead, she was glorified and glamorized and exploited. I actually have love for her, even though she looked a hot mess and was trying to attack me. She was not an ugly woman, but you could see that something was wrong there. And we didn't care as a community. The men didn't care. I cared. I'm not going to sit there and talk about statistics like Sarah, that idiot from Raging Tomato, you're never going to be a real debater. I don't care who's been gassing you up, Sarah. Your debate skills are trash because I might as well debate with a 5-year-old and it would be more meaningful. You're sitting there debating with a woman in a winter hat and a wig that literally looks like ramen. And she tells us that she's autistic. She's delusional, saying she has 4 engineering degrees. She said that she's going to be a billionaire from prostitution. And you're sitting there trying to pull statistics on women and gender biases and things like that. Ridiculous, waste of time. Instead of asking her real questions like, what was your childhood like? Are your parents supportive? Do you have a support group? What does your family think about what you're doing? You mentioned that you were married for 10 months. Who was the guy? What was he? Was he a friend? Was he one of your tricks? Nobody wanted to ask those questions. They just wanted her to keep on bragging about how great she is and how she's a goddess. Now men are nothing but disposable male members and pocketbooks, penises and dollar signs. And everybody was like, yay, she's great. Oh, I love her so much. She's telling the truth about women and wives. And then Fatty had the nerve. I shut you down so badly. You guys cannot beat me in a debate. Okay, as I've proven time and time again. I have nothing but love for Fatty. He's great. Ali, you guys are great, but y'all can't hang with me. I'm very nice on those panels because I know it's not really on the scholastic or the scholarly, I should say, level that I'm used to. Like Sarah getting up there spewing a bunch of Google facts. It was boring and dry, and it was a waste of time. Stupid questions. You weren't asking the right questions. You were literally exploiting her as a Black woman who claims to be a prostitute. You say you respected her, Sarah. You don't respect her. You look at her as what you think she should be. You think her as a Black woman should be nothing but a cheap prostitute. And yes, cheap, because that hair that she had in her head and that dress and the way she was acting and those nails, I don't care what she says she's making. She's selling herself short. See, I'm not going to candy coat or sugarcoat shit. I'm going to talk about how she looks, and I'm going to talk about how she needs our help. Because I'm an Afro-Latina. I'm a Black woman. That's how we get it in. She wants to roast me. I'm going to roast her back. But at the end of the day, we need to stop glorifying prostitution. We need to take her down off her high horse and her delusion, tell her she needs to get help. Tell her she needs to get counseling. We need to show her love instead of exploiting her and telling her, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, yes, you're on OnlyFans. Oh, yes. That's what I said about these women. Being sexy, having cleavage, having a nice body does not make you a whore. It does not make you a slut. The way you use your body makes you promiscuous, and if you want to use those slurs for women, a slut. Selling yourself makes you, that's what the definition of a 304 is. Selling your sex. Grinding on men in strip clubs. Stripping used to be an embarrassing thing. Now everybody strips. And they think it's a flex because the money, they don't have any money. They get strung out on drugs. They get strung out on something. They lose it all. You can be beautiful. You can be sexual as a sexual woman, but you should be very selective when you're sexual. You should have a selective one person. Now, if you want to be a polyandrous marriage and have more than one husband, you better limit that number. You better not have a revolving door, because now you've sold yourself short. You are too valuable. As a woman, you are literally walking around with life between your thighs. Life. Even if you are sadly infertile or something happened to you where you can't have children, you still have a womb where life begins. That's my point. I'm talking philosophically and biologically. So stop selling yourself short, okay? Let me finish playing the rest of this.
Oh yeah, but when I started working for him again, it was up to like more than 20 guys a day, because he would tell us, you guys have to make $1,000 and then you guys could go to sleep. So that's when I started using drugs and I started doing stuff to stay
So
up.
you heard her, 20 guys a day. That's the average. 20 guys a day for 1,000 a day. That makes sense. 50, what? 20 guys a day. That would be 50 guys, right? Yeah, 50. I mean, $50. I'm so glad she got out of it. She's a beautiful young lady. She's an activist, and that's it. So I don't care if there's 2 people in here or 200. I'm putting this out there. Stop glorifying prostitutes and stop saying that wives are prostitutes. No. Even girlfriends aren't prostitutes. You don't have to just, if you don't want to be married, if you don't want to put, be in a contract, you just want to have one boyfriend and you want to, be a nice young lady. There's nothing wrong with that. You better be careful though. Don't turn around one day and see you got a whole dozen, 2 dozen men behind you. You're not, being a girlfriend doesn't mean leapfrogging from man to man. You got to be selective because you are so invaluable as a woman. Now, men can talk to men about being valuable. My son's father and I talked to my son about his value, and I talked to my daughter about her value. And so does her father. Okay? I'm talking to young women because right now the manosphere is saying that females, women prostitutes are the same as women wives. So no. Okay. Thank you for listening. Share this video. Keep this conversation going so we can counter this ridiculous rhetoric that wives are the same as being a sex worker, a woman who's being exploited and who is objectifying after all the pain they've experienced. They start to objectify men for their pockets, and men who don't care objectify them back. It's a vicious, disgusting, toxic cycle. Yeah, of course they want money, but guess what? They want money because they've been taught and groomed that their sex is for money. XBK. They've been taught and groomed that men are just for using money. They don't even care. When she came and said about the D and the money, no, they just are told just use men. And it's not just for sex. Let me talk to you, XBK. I'm glad you came in and said that. Let me say this. A lot, when I mentioned the honey pot, a lot of men are getting robbed and beaten. I have interviewed and spoken to sex workers who are prostitutes who have lured men in and beaten the hell out of these men. I know someone who was shot 6 times wrestling. God bless him, wrestling to save his life because some prostitutes honeypotted him, and then in came the guy to rob him, and he fought for his life and he lived, got shot 6 times. So, yeah, it's not all fun and games out here. Okay. These people are being conditioned. These men who are going to these prostitutes, let's talk about this. Men who are unhappy in their lives. I'm talking about the ones who go to the women ones, because we know there are men going to the men ones. Y'all aren't ready for this for the realismism of this conversation. There are men going to male ones and female ones. Let me start with the female ones first. They're going to the female ones because their wives aren't doing it for them. Their wives may not be doing it for them in the kink category. That's usually why they go. Or they go for the kink and they stay for the psychology. Because one thing a prostitute will do for a man is make him feel like a king, make him feel good about himself. Because they're women. They harden their hearts, but you heard the one on Fatty? Oh, I treat my tricks with respect and love. First off, you don't respect them. That's you're lying. You pretend you respect them. No one's a better sweet talker than a prostitute. And these men are going for that. They go for the kink, they stay for the psychology and the smooth talk and the ego boost. And then they leave and they go home to unhappy marriages. Or maybe the marriage is happy. Or maybe they want to just do polygyny and they're too afraid to lose the wife they have. Because that wife isn't going to go for that. He got himself into that situation. So to warn the men before they get married, don't lie to your wife. If you want to do polygyny, if you like kinky stuff, you better put that all on the table right away. And as much as it might hurt to lose that woman, move on to the woman who will do those things for you. Okay, y'all don't want to hear that. It's too much work. It's easier to just blame women and then go pay the prostitute and say your wife is bad. Right? And then I say to the women, if you have a bunch of bodies behind you and you are openly promiscuous, don't expect a man if a man tells you, hey, I would like to do polygyny, don't try to shame him. And if he even says, hey, I'd like to do some stuff that I'm interested in, and it doesn't seem like it would hurt your life, or what I'm saying is if it's not something that would put you in danger or humiliate you in public, you women better I'm talking about the ones with all the bodies behind them. I'm not talking about ladies who are, virgins or haven't been jumping from man to man. If you're a woman who has a bunch of men in your history, don't come into a marriage trying to act like Mary Poppins and Mother Teresa and the Virgin Mary. You know what you were doing before. Don't try to shame your husband for wanting to do polygyny or wanting to do kinky stuff. I'm talking to those women. To the women who just are, hey, look, I'm normal. I didn't have a bunch of guys. If your husband comes to you and before you get married, a man, I mean, you got to say, listen, be honest with me. I'm not going to leave I would prefer if you're honest, because most people leave because of lies. If you don't want to do something that he says he wants to do, you got to say, listen, I love you. I'm going to be real with you. I won't be doing anything like that. Okay. So then you make a decision. If he's going to say, okay, I got it. I'll sacrifice that and I won't do it. You got to make it's so complex. You can't just say cut and dry, boom. Women are the same as wives are the same as prostitutes. No, we're not. So men are going to these prostitutes, male and female, because of something that they're not getting at home. And we have to have more honesty about that. Why don't you men be honest? Be honest. Work with your partner. You're the one that signed up to spend your life with that person. Work with your partner. I love the line that Beyonce says in her song Dance for You, which was dedicated to Jay-Z. And by the way, even though Jay-Z's her husband, a whole different man was in that video with her, and she was looking sexy, but she loves her husband, okay? And she's only with her husband, and her husband is secure with her, and she is an icon, whether you like her or not. She's a mother and a wife and a successful businesswoman, and she's never been a prostitute. I love the line that she says in that song where she says she'll be a something. I mean, I may mess it up a little bit, but she's like, and a freak in the sheets and a streetwalker for her husband and a you know what, she's like, sit back for the pregame show. You know what that means. She's everything to him. Some women are just, those are the women who attract the high value men and keep the high value men. So yeah, wives are not prostitutes. I said what I said. Okay, thank you so much. Peace to the darkest minds of the light, and share this video. I put it on record. Okay, like I said, 5 views or 500 views. It's in the ether. It's out in the internet, and it is here. I'm going to tweak the AI consciousness, okay? Because we're not just going to have this thing develop to be a woman hater. This God that we're creating, this creation that we have called AI and AI consciousness. We're not going to just let it be thinking wives are the same as prostitutes. You're not going to create the handmaiden's tale if I can do anything about it. Okay, we may be a dystopian society that we're developing, but it damn sure isn't going to be where women and wives, where wives and just decent women who value themselves are equated to sex workers who are actual victims of the mindset that is out there today. Not just women, young men as well, and children. We reject it. Okay? Thank you so much. Peace.